silent betrayal. The first cold winds of autumn swept through the streets of Willow Creek, sending leaves spiraling like confetti through the air. As the sunset cast a golden glow over the quaint town, Martha Blake stood by her kitchen window, stirring a pot of simmering stew. The aroma of garlic and thyme filled her small home, wrapping her in a cocoon of warmth and nostalgia. This evening was meant to be special. It marked the anniversary of her marriage to Robert, her husband of 15 years. As the clock struck 6, she set the table with care, once cherished china, now slightly chipped, but still beautiful in its own way. She slipped into a deep emerald dress, one that made her feel like the woman Robert had fallen in love with all those years ago. But as she waited, the door to their home remained closed. Martha's excitement began to wither. Robert was often late, caught up in work or meetings, but tonight felt different. A gnawing sense of unease settled in her stomach. At 6:30, she picked up her phone, glancing at the screen. No messages. Martha's heart raced as she dialed Robert's number. After 3 rings, she hung up, her fingers trembling. The minutes crawled by as the sun began to dip below the horizon, plunging her home into shadows. By 7 o'clock, a sinking dread had replaced her anticipation. Just as she poured herself a glass of wine to drown her apprehension, the front door creaked open. Robert stepped inside, his coat draped over his arm, a half-hearted smile lingering on his lips. "Sorry to keep you waiting," he said, brushing past her. "Work ran late." Martha forced a smile, swallowing her growing concerns. "I made your favorite stew," she replied, focusing on the cozy scene she had created. But Robert seemed distracted, his eyes darting to his phone every few moments, while Martha ladled the steaming stew into bowls. "Time for a toast," she said, raising her glass. Robert lifted his, but the glimmer of celebration was absent in his eyes. "To us," she declared, trying to summon the warmth that usually filled their anniversary dinners. "To us," he echoed, but the clink of their glasses felt hollow, a stark contrast to the past years where laughter had flooded their home. As they settled into their meal, Martha watched Robert closely. He picked at his food, lost in thoughts that seemed a million miles away. She cleared her throat, ready to surface her fears. "Is everything okay? You seem off." "I'm fine, just tired," he replied, averting his gaze. Martha's heart sank. This was not the man she knew. She longed to bridge the growing chasm between them, but words failed her. After dinner, she suggested they take a walk, breathe in the autumn air. But Robert declined, saying he had work to catch up on. Disappointed but determined, she stepped outside, wrapping herself in a light jacket, the evening chill gnawing at her resolve. The streets were illuminated by flickering street lamps that cast a serene glow over the leaf-strewn sidewalks. That night, Martha wandered the familiar paths of Willow Creek, her mind racing with thoughts of Robert. What could be troubling him? Was it work, or something deeper? Each unanswered question twisted like barbed wire around her heart. When she returned home, Robert was staring at his laptop, the light glowing like a lighthouse in the darkness. She approached him, her brow furrowed. "Robert, we need to talk." "Something's wrong." He sighed, closing the laptop slowly, the weight of unspoken words escalating the tension in the room. "Martha, he hesitated, his voice barely rising above a whisper. "There's something you need to know." Her breath hitched in her throat. She stepped closer, searching his face for answers, for reassurance. "What is it?" For a moment, the silence swelled, thick and suffocating. I've been working with someone on a project. It's complicated, and I didn't want to worry you, but, she urged, desperation clawing at her insides. He stood, eyes averting hers, hands clenching at his sides. "It's Sarah from the office. She's..." Martha's heart slammed against her chest. The betrayal hung in the air like the autumn fog, silent, yet deafening. "What about her?" "We've been spending more time together." "I didn't want to tell you this way, but..." He finally met her gaze, filled with an expression she never expected to see, sheepishness intertwined with guilt. The world around her blurred, and for a moment, she felt utterly alone. Everything in her life, the dinners, the laughter, the easy affection, was crushed under the weight of this revelation. She had trusted him, believed in their love without question, and now each slice of time they had shared felt tainted. Her voice trembled, cutting through the silence that enveloped them. "So, what does this mean for us?" Robert hesitated. "I don't know, Martha. I need time to figure things out." Time. That single word felt like a dagger. Time was what they had lost, the beautiful, fragile threads of trust that had bound them together. As he turned back to his computer, the distance between them grew, stretching into an abyss. Martha's heart shattered quietly, the betrayal echoing silently in the space between them. She stood there, overwhelmed by a pain that didn't scream, but whispered, a haunting reminder of what was once a beautiful love. The autumn winds outside howled softly, carrying away the last remnants of her hope, leaving only the chilling realization of silent betrayal lingering like a ghost within her home. In the darkness, she realized trust, once broken, could seldom be restored. And as the leaves danced outside, she quietly mourned the love that once was, now shrouded in shadows. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed my mystery audio story.